Hello world, and welcome to another edition of Mixing in the Kitchen. I'm your host, David, DJ Cilo Peraza, and we're going to be doing the same thing that we normally do. We're going to go ahead and be cooking up a recipe today. We're going to be doing a beer tasting, and we're going to have our music kicking on the DJ system over here on the other side of the kitchen. Today our recipe is going to be spinach meatball soup. Very good recipe. Here's a little picture of it if you can catch that. My cameraman Skip in the back there. Okay, it's a recipe that I picked up from Publix Aprons Recipes, and I tried it one time. I fell in love with it. A bunch of people, my co-workers, I brought some to work. Everybody loved it, so I want to share it with you, world. So that's what we're going to be doing today. All right, so let's get started, everyone. We're going to need, for this particular recipe, about 1.5 pounds of ground beef. You can substitute ground turkey if you like. For you guys out there who don't like ground beef and you're sticking with your turkey, so you want to go ahead and just take your ground beef. You'll put it into your bowl. Okay. Go ahead and discard this piece here. We're going to be digging our hands all up into this to mix all our ingredients around, so you want to wash your hands really good. Want to err on the side of safety. I like to use antibacterial soap when I wash my hands, but get your hands nice and cleaned up. Okay, so once we got our ground beef in our bowl, we want to go ahead and we want to add our breadcrumbs. We're going to use a 1/2 cup of Italian style breadcrumbs. This one comes from Publix. Okay, once again, Publix is a great store. I love kudos to Publix. So we're going to use a 1/2 cup of those breadcrumbs. They don't have Publix over in China where you guys are watching this, but it's a good store. It's in Florida, United States. Okay, so we want to add our breadcrumbs. We're going to add one egg scrambled. I went ahead and cracked the egg already and scrambled it up. We want to add our egg. Okay, we want to add sun-dried tomato pesto. Okay, and we're going to put the name of this stuff on the bottom of the screen for you guys. Okay, so we want to use, see here, on this one, there's 2 tablespoonfuls of the sun-dried tomato pesto. Mix it up a little bit. Kind of a heaping tablespoonful, but it's good stuff. Alright, and we want to go ahead and we want to add 1/4 teaspoonful of black pepper. Okay, and 1/4 teaspoonful of kosher salt. Alright. And we're going to go ahead and mix this up. Want to mix it up really good. Make sure all your ingredients are evenly mixed throughout the meat. You can smell that tomato pesto coming up. Okay. Then we want to go ahead and start making this into some meatballs. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just throw them into this pan here for now. You don't want to make it too big. You know, maybe about 1/4 inch. Okay, so we're going to be cooking our meatballs in the stock pot. You want to get a good sized stock pot, about this size. You want to add 1 tablespoonful of canola oil, or whatever oil that you like to use. I usually use olive oil, but the recipe calls for canola oil, so you can use that as well. So you want to do 1 tablespoonful of that. You want to heat up your oil on a medium high for about 2 to 3 minutes before you add your meatballs in. Okay, so you want to set it to medium high and go ahead and let that heat up. Okay, while you're getting your meatballs ready, and then once you have your meatballs ready, you want to dump them in there once that gets a little bit hot. Okay, so once you get your meat all mixed up really good, okay, you want to make about 1-inch meatballs. Okay, you can just roll them out with your hands. About 1-inch meatballs there. On the ground beef that you use, you want to use the kind that's only about 7% fat in them, because you don't want a whole lot of grease coming off of them. Because we're gonna be using that same. Once we cook these meatballs, we're gonna use that same stock pot for the rest of our ingredients, and you don't want just a whole bunch of grease in there. Okay. So you want all your meatballs about the same size, about 1-inch round. All right. Our last one here. Once you get all your meatballs done, okay, our oil should be nice and hot now in our pan. We want to go ahead and add those in, okay, and then brown them. You want to brown those up for about 6 minutes or so. Okay. Once we get these all browned up, okay, and cooked up, we're going to go ahead and take our meatballs out. We'll put them in a colander, and then we're going to add some Trinity mix, which is the onions, carrots, and celery that I chopped up a little earlier that you guys saw me chopping up. We're going to add that along with a few other ingredients, and we'll be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and browned my meatballs. You want to brown those in portions. Okay, you don't want to throw all your meatballs in there in one shot. You want to brown half of it and then pull them out, put them into a colander or what have you. You could put some aluminum foil in your colander, and then you want to brown your other half. Then once you're done with that, you want to add in what we chopped up earlier, which is our carrots, celery, and onion, about 3.5 ounces of each. Okay, you want to throw that into your pot. Okay, and then 2 garlic cloves, chopped coarsely. You want to go ahead and add that in as well. And we're just going to stir this around a little bit. Okay. So it looks like our onions are a little cooked. Probably about 2 minutes. About 2 minutes or so. Cook it up in there. I can smell it. I can smell the celery. You want to have that on medium to high heat at this point. And you want to go ahead and you want to add your spinach. We use about 3 cups of spinach, and as you saw earlier, we went and washed these off really good, rinsed them off really good. You want to add those in. Now in that Trinity mix, just as a reminder, you want to chop up your carrots about 3 ounces, 3.5 ounces or so of carrots. You want to chop those up fine. You want to chop up your onion fine, same amount, about 3.5 ounces. And you want to chop up your celery about 3.5 ounces. Okay. Now Publix, the store here, and where I'm at in lower east coast of Florida, okay, they make that already made, so you can go to Publix and pick that up. It's called Trinity Mix. So you want to mix in your spinach until it starts to wilt a little bit. Okay, right about like that. You know, it's starting to wilt. Okay, once it gets like that, you want to go ahead and add 1 box of chicken broth. Okay, it's good to use unsalted. Okay. Bust this thing open here. Okay, go ahead and just pour that in. Okay, so 1 box of chicken broth. Then you want to add 2 cans of cannellini beans. That's cannellini, cannellini beans. Okay, use whatever brand you want. I'm Puerto Rican. I like to use the Goya stuff. So we'll add that in there. I just lost Donald Trump as my fan base here. You know, I'm not too sure he's keen on Latinos. All right, so 2 cans of your cannellini beans. You just want to just dump those in. Okay, and then we're going to do 1/4 teaspoonful of pepper. A little too much there. Our friend Doug over there, he'll start sneezing and he had some of this there. Got Doug in the house. Good friend of my cameraman Skip. And our salt, we want 1/4 teaspoonful of our salt as well. Kosher salt, 1/4 teaspoonful of that. And then we want to go ahead and dump in our meatballs. We want to mix that up a little bit. Okay, want to mix that up a little bit. Looks nice and tasty. And we want to dump in our meatballs. Okay. Okay, so once you got all your meatballs in, you want to go ahead and cook this on medium-low, okay, for about 6 to 7 minutes, okay? So medium-low, 6 to 7 minutes, or until your meatballs, if you have a thermometer that you can stick in your meatballs, till your meatballs are 160 degrees, okay? Once that's done, everything's cooked up, you can go ahead and serve it. You know, you pour some in a bowl, and you can add some, I like to use a combination of Romano and Parmesan, but a lot of people just sprinkle some Parmesan cheese over it once you get into your bowl. And once it's cooked up, we'll show you how that looks like. Okay, so those of you who have seen my shows from the beginning, and you remember our sofrito recipe, and I told you you could use that in soups, we're going to add some to this one. Publix don't know about that, but we're going to add in ours. We're going to add a little bit of sofrito, at least 1 tablespoonful. The nice, fresh, good smelling sofrito. Just dump that right in there. It's gonna give it a nice extra kick of flavor, you know. So those of you who have seen my sofrito recipe, you could add a little bit to this soup. It gives it a little extra kick and zing. All right. So that's just between us. Don't say nothing to Publix. And then once you got that in there and you have it simmering, you definitely want to cover it up. Okay, cover it up and for about 5 to 7 minutes. That's going to give us a little bit of time so we can go ahead and do one of the other features that we do on the show, which is our beer tasting. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and this week we're featuring all the way from our 50th state of Hawaii and the Kona Beer Company, Big Wave. You might have seen these guys on TV. I see their commercials all the time, and I wonder to myself, I wonder how that beer really tastes. So now we're going to try. I have a special guest here today. He's going to help me with our next show. You'll see him in our next show. Our next show, we're going to be doing something called batalillos, another word for his empanadas. And my man Kuzo's here. Kuzo, come on into the picture, man. How you been, my brother?
All right, good.
Me and Kuzo go way back. He's going to help me with our beer tasting. Okay? We're going to do our Big Wave. I got another buddy of mine, Doug, here in the background. What's happening, Doug?
All right.
All right, we'll grab you one here too. All right, my man Doug, and my cameraman's gonna get one here in a second. So we're gonna take a little taste of our Kona beer. All right, and see how it tastes.
Not bad. That's a good beer. It's light.
I like it.
It's light.
You know, a lot of beer's been averaging an 8 on our show. I don't know. I think I might have to give this one a 9. For me, this might have to get a 9. Let me take one more taste here.
Now that's real good. Tastes good. It's light.
Yeah. So what do you think?
It's good. It's light.
Well, would you give it on a 1 to 10?
I would say an 8.
Okay, so Kuzo gives it an 8. I give it a 9. What do you think, Doug?
I would say around 8.
Around 8. All right, so we got to average about 8.25. Kona Beer Company, 8.25. This one is called, they make 3 beers. This one is called the Big Wave. We'll probably try another one of these on our next show. Thank you. Okay, so it's been about 8 minutes. Our soup is pretty much done. Just go ahead and just turn off your heat. You want to go ahead and use a big old soup spoon. Mix it up just a little bit. Now while you're gone, you may notice a few potatoes in there. I went ahead and added potatoes. That's not part of the recipe. But you can get creative. You know, if you want to add some extra in there that you like, that you feel would complement this dish, by all means, just throw it in. It's a soup, you know. So I mean, you can throw whatever you want in there. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and scoop some up. Okay, what you want to do, and this is totally up to you, but you know, we like to add a little bit of Romano cheese on there. A little Parmesan cheese. I like my Parmesan with a little bit of Romano. Okay, and you can just sprinkle a little bit of that on top. Okay, to your taste. All right, so once you add your Romano cheese, you're ready to go for our taste test. We're gonna have our buddy Kuzo take a little taste. Still a little hot, but take a little taste there. There you go, Kuz.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's a little warm, so be careful.
Good taste.
Good taste. All right, so that's our spinach meatball soup, everyone. And don't forget our Big Wave beer that we brought out for you guys. Big Wave beer. Okay, we didn't have a guest DJ today. I'm your DJ today, DJ Cilo. I'm about to jump back on the wheels here, play a little bit of music for you guys. I want to thank you all for coming out, and we'll see you on the next Mixing in the Kitchen. Peace.